Next one, I love these sort of books. So you can buy the New York Times will do their best headlines. The LA Times has one, their best headlines. And then this one is called Newspaper Design, editorial design from the world's best newsrooms. But just understanding how copy works, how the eye moves, what a headline should look like, when you should bold something, how things should be structured, the architecture of it, all that is very, very important. The second one, same thing, is called Visual Journalism, Infographics from the World's Best Newsroom and Designers by Gestalten, Gestalten.
There's some really cool stuff in that book.
Yeah, we've looked at this book together, haven't we?
Yep.
We were trying to figure out how to explain the financial statements in an easy way. And was there something else we were trying to do?
Yeah, that was the main thing that we're looking for a pictogram of, for sure.
So we did these videos, a series called How to Understand the Financials in 30 Minutes.
Yep.
And we referenced this book when we laid out our worksheet. And it helped a lot, right?
Yep.
It helped to look at all the different crazy designs and ways that people present information so you can understand it.
Yeah.
There's an art to that.
There was, because the information in itself was like, it was really heavy and kind of boring to look at and everything like that. And it made it really, really interesting. The visual part of that whole deal. There's a lot of times we've made the information we're exchanging really visually appealing, and it makes it more digestible.
Did you ever watch Mad Men, the
No.
show? The rumor was that Mad Men was kind of based on this next author, because he was kind of the original marketer, George Lewis.
Okay.
So I have a bunch of his books. I just grabbed two, but I probably have every book he's done. Probably my favorite one is George Lewis on his creation of the big idea. It's interesting. He did the logo for Midas in here. He also did all those Esquire covers, like the one with Muhammad Ali and the arrows going into him. But for a while, he did the covers for Esquire. But his advertising agency did tons of crazy ads that were really, really effective and editorial. But in this book, he shows his inspiration for different ads that he created. So you might not know that he created the ad, but you've definitely seen the ads, and he shows you what his inspiration was. One thing that I learned from him in another book that I kind of tried to do as much as I could is he lives in New York, and every Sunday he'll go to the Met there, the museum. And so oftentimes, at least once a week, I'll try to go to LACMA when it's open. It's not open right now because of COVID. But I would try to go to LACMA and just look around and kind of absorb it. But it's amazing. The other one here that I have is The Art of Advertising, George Lewis on Mass Communication. And same thing, just his ads. Like, he's legendary, but tons of different print ads, magazine covers, ads for, big businesses, logos, all of that he's done in here are great. You start to understand how a lot of things that you take for granted, like logos and the way things are laid out, have a purpose or a meaning behind them, right?
Yeah, he's pretty darn prolific in terms of successful things, too.
And then my last little batch here that we were talking about on the coaching meeting about telling stories and how it's not about the commodity. You got to tell better stories. Stories endear the customers to us. So some books here that help with that. These I don't know how you say it. Do you say Taschen?
Let me see.
The publisher, Taschen?
Yeah, that looks
Taschen. They have a couple books that are really good. So this one is called Alchemy and Mysticism. Just understanding how people buy into fables and the visuals from different eras, but it's genius. The best one, same publisher, so there's not really an author on these. Look at this. Look at how worn out this book is.
Oh, yeah.
I've used this book a lot, but it's called The Book of Symbols. And it just goes through different symbols. Like, what do things mean? What does an egg mean to the subconscious? And it really is the subconscious. But these sort of things really matter. So it's broken up into different sections. So creation and cosmos, then water, air, wind, and weather, fire, light, and darkness, and earth. And it's fascinating, like what a lake means to the subconscious, or what burying somebody in the ground means, because it kind of insinuates a rebirth, because the body decomposes and then the grass grows, and all these different symbols that help you understand that the pictures that you use really, really matter, and the analogies and metaphors. And then that's a big part of it. A big part of the leadership training that we have coming out is the use of metaphors and how important metaphors are. And so these books are great insight into that. In the same vein, Man and His Symbols by Carl Jung is genius. Referenced it as much as that book. An artist that I think does metaphors and uses words in a unique way that just kind of make you change how you think about words and art is Ed Rushka.
Okay.
He's a California artist, but famous. Look at this one. So this is one of his books. Look at this. Howdy, Chris.
You got a howdy?
Howdy, Chris.
Nice. I like it.
Do you want to know the truth, though?
That you just got lucky and that happened to be...
So I bought this, and it said it was signed when I bought it, and it came, and it said, Howdy, Chris, and signed Ed. But it's not, I'm not the Chris, but I'll take it.
It doesn't have to be that story, right? Yeah.
But he's great with metaphors. Like, I love his stuff, and it's just fun to see his application with it. So we have tons of his books here too.
That's definitely a good benefit of having one of the most popular names in the United States, is that if something's signed, it's probably to Chris.
Yeah, Chris. Then this book is called Aesop's Fables, but I like referencing these sort of books about metaphors and fables when you're writing emails or copy or a book or trying to tell a story, because these stick. The reason why these stories have been around so long is because they stick and they have a higher meaning. Mm-hmm. When you start to understand stories and fables, you start to understand that there's a meaning. Like, do you know the meaning behind Jack and the Beanstalk?
No.
Do you know the story of Jack and the Beanstalk?
Yes, the magic seeds planted in the ground, beanstalk goes up to the ceiling.
Then
well, not the ceiling, but to the sky. And then Jack climbs it, finds a giant up there, and the giant tries to kill him and eat him. How'd I do? Good?
Yeah, I mean, there's some things you missed, but yeah. So goes up there, the giant's wife says you better get out of here because he eats little boys or whatever, something like that. And then he runs away, runs down the beanstalk, cuts the beanstalk, falls down. What happens to the giant?
He dies.
But where does he fall?
I don't know.
Back to the ground?
Where he is reborn?
No, that's where he belongs.
Shoot.
So the metaphor is you have a higher self and a lower self, and your higher self is the better part of you, the good part of you, the confident part of you, and the lower self, the mean, old, angry giant got in there. And so sometimes your fear and negativity mixes with your better self, and you have fear of failure and that sort of thing, but it's an illusion. And so he cuts it down and it comes back down into his lower self.
Yeah.
And then heaven is free again, right?
Wow, I had no idea about all that stuff. But it doesn't surprise me because I'm not like batteries. I'm not included in everything either.
I like that. You snuck that in.
I did.
And I didn't have to do the, I don't know, because I really never know. It was interesting. Somebody got one of your jokes the other day, and I was like, how did you think of that?
Right.
So I never, it's never, your punchlines are never what I think they're going to be. But so there's a bunch of books on marketing. I hope that you enjoyed that. I maybe sparked some interest. You can see how eccentric I am. This really is just scratching the surface.
There's a little bit of insight into you in this, though. That's pretty cool. It's a neat list. I like it.
Then I promised you a couple documentaries. So on marketing, I would watch The War Room, which you can find on YouTube in sections, about Stephanopoulos and Carville getting Clinton elected. It's a documentary. It's great. And the lesson in there is they had one mantra. It's all about the economy's stupid, and how you get a president who was caught, or a candidate who was caught cheating on his wife, when back then that was the end of your campaign, to beat a sitting president, which rarely ever happens. And it was all about the economy stupid. And then those guys go and start a political consulting firm. And there's another documentary called Our Brand is Crisis. Now, Our Brand is Crisis was made into a movie. That's not the one. It's the documentary. It's kind of hard to find. But the documentary, Our Brand is Crisis, watch what they do in Bolivia. They take a candidate who is got like 10%, he's polling like 10% to win in less than 60 days. And then it starts a revolution because they agitate everybody so much. But those two documentaries are genius for marketing. So The War Room and the documentary Our Brand is Crisis. And there's also Darren Brown, the illusionist Darren Brown, has a little video. It's like 7 minutes. We always play it for everybody.
Oh, yeah, the zoo one.
It is. I just type in, when I Google it, Darren Brown advertising, and it comes up. And basically, the premise of it is that he gets two gentlemen from an advertising agency in London to create a campaign for a fictional business. And they do it, and then the campaign is exactly what he wanted them to create, and how he got them to think that way, and how our subconscious mind pays attention to everything. And it's funny, at the end of it, he says, you have no idea how much work I put in to get this outcome. And then he shows you, and it's genius. It's like 7 or 8 minutes long. But Darren Brown advertising on YouTube, fascinating. But it just goes to show you, like, our subconscious sees everything, but we're paying attention to very few things in our conscious mind. But the subconscious is 2 million times more powerful than the conscious mind. So just understanding that, when somebody comes into your service drive and it's a mess, subconsciously they think you're a mess. They think you're unreliable. You're disorganized. They see other people waiting. Subconsciously they think same thing, right? So all of those things are feeding their psyche and their subconscious, and they add up. They matter. The details matter. Thanks so much for watching this clip of Service Driving Revolution. We're uploading new stuff every day, so make sure you subscribe and click the bell icon so you don't miss out. If you have a question you'd like us to answer on the show, call 8333-ASK-SDR and we'll answer your question on the show. That's 8333-ASK-SDR. For special deals on our books and training, head over to offers.chriscollinsinc.com. Now that's offers.chriscollinsinc.com. I'm Chris Collins, and I'll see you in the next video.